Welcome to What's the Issue, a Viewpoints podcast where I, your host Novah Reyes, bring you a weekly breakdown of articles that have been published to Viewpoints online. Along with that, we go beyond the headlines with an in-depth conversation with a different reporter each week, taking you behind the scenes of their latest article, exploring the ideas that drive their writing, and uncovering the stories behind the stories. This week, we bring on live reporter Chelsea Sugimura and her opinion piece on Taylor Swift's newest album, The Life of a Showgirl. To start off, I'll bring you the latest news. News reporter Louis Tozer writes about the latest government shutdown since 2018 and 2019. He writes, "The failed budget creates curiosity and confusion over many essential services and programs whose funding is now in the air. Some of these programs include student employment, the free application of federal student aid, or FAFSA, and even basic everyday things such as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, more commonly known as SNAP, among other programs." Viewpoints reached out to Elizabeth Hilton, Director of Student Financial Services at Riverside City College, about the shutdown. Hilton said that in terms of FAFSA financial aid, the FAFSA application is still live and accessible, and all workshops for FAFSA and financial aid will continue as scheduled. Hilton also said that the financial aid funds and student employment would not be affected by the shutdown at this time. Viewpoints also contacted the University of California, Riverside, as many students who attend RCC transferred to UCR, and was able to get in contact with Executive Director of Student Financial Services at UCR, Jose Aguilar. Aguilar said that UCR is on a quarter system, so we haven't really seen many delays in receiving federal support, and if the shutdown continues, there is a chance for major delays. The federal government isn't shut down until a budget can be passed, marking the first shutdown since the 2018-2019 government shutdown that occurred during President Trump's first term. For the Live section, Live editor Grace Esquivel brings us Riverside Art and Music Festival builds a creative hub for the community. She writes, "The Riverside Art and Music Festival returned after the last 2 years of success. The family-friendly event, which took place at historical White Park in downtown Riverside on September 27, welcomed all ages and even pets with free admission. Music was heard from all around, from the main stage to the acoustics that bounced off of the gazebo at the community stage. Art surrounded the park grounds as vendors sold curated pieces such as jewelry, and local artists showcased their art creations. The Riverside Arts Council, a private nonprofit corporation, holds events such as this festival to uplift hometown pride and create an inclusive space for creatives to express themselves. They organize the ongoing monthly art walks, workshops in collaboration with other Riverside art locations along with other events. Vendors and artists blended into one at this event. Artists displayed their artworks and had them for sale. A collection of different forms of art were up for grabs, like hand-blown glass vases, collages, and one-of-a-kind hand-painted pieces. As we move on to opinions, I do have to make one thing clear with an editor's note. As a student-run newspaper committed to fair and responsible journalism, Viewpoints is presenting 2 opposing personal student commentaries about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. These commentaries are the opinions of the student writers and do not necessarily reflect those of the entire Viewpoints staff, Viewpoints faculty advisors, college faculty, staff and administration, or the district's board of trustees. Managing editor Marissa Perez brings us, "Do Charlie Kirk's beliefs align with the Bible?" She writes, "The recent passing of Charlie Kirk struck the church as many people praised him for his teachings and opinions. I saw numerous videos on social media claiming that Kirk was a true Christian. However, I disagree. Kirk would often visit college campuses and debate with students. Based on the videos that would be clipped, Kirk would spread a lot of hate, yet he became very popular in the conservative Christian household due to his beliefs. This caught the eye of the conservative Christians because his belief followed the Bible. A good godly man stands up for the people and does not divide. I acknowledge and respect the thinking of conservative Christians. However, when you disagree with someone, that doesn't mean you should bring shame to them. In the Bible, a verse highlights loving everyone. Biblical verse Leviticus 19:18 states, 'Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord.' Jesus means to love your Muslim neighbor, your immigrant neighbor, your black neighbor, and your gay neighbor, and to not separate one another, though our ideologies are different. A quote that I like to live by is, 'You cannot treat people like garbage and worship God at the same time.'" Opinions writer Kendall Halseth opposes the opinion with faith, freedom, and fire, reflecting on the Charlie Kirk's legacy. She writes, "He believed in faith, freedom, but he also loved our country. And he also had things that he opposed, which were gun control, abortion, LGBTQ+ rights, certain civil rights legislations, as well as expressing traditionalist views of women's roles. Along with having been a husband and a father of 2 children, Kirk was also an American right-wing political activist, author, host of The Charlie Kirk Show, and social media personality. He founded the student organization called Turning Point USA in 2012, which will still be continuing even after his passing. Kirk did events on student college campuses, including the Prove Me Wrong debates, which still flow around different social media platforms. He made reference to the Lord in his Prove Me Wrong debates, such as when an African-American mother, a young child, went up to the microphone and greeted Kirk and said that her baby is not just a beautiful thing, but also a gift from God. The mother not only thanked Kirk, but stated that her daughter is truly a blessing. Charlie Kirk had been an impact for young people's lives. He was a symbol of the youth in a political standpoint, and him being that symbol helped inspire many young people to speak up about how they felt, making their voices heard. He was able to impact my life as well as being able to speak my mind more. Charlie Kirk said, "If you believe in something, you need to have the courage to fight for those ideas, not run away from them or try and silence them." To wrap up this recap, I'll bring you the sports section. Sports editor Ethan Aguilera brings us an introduction to Andre Wilson, Riverside City College's new men's basketball head coach. He writes, "A familiar face is taking over the Wheelock gym. Former RCC standout and longtime assistant Andre Wilson is stepping into the head coaching role for Riverside City College men's basketball. Wilson, 30, takes over as Riverside City College men's basketball head coach, marking a significant moment for the program. As a true Tiger standout and assistant coach, he brings a deep understanding of the team's culture and values, stepping in after Phils Matthews' 12-year tenure. RCC is home for me. I met my wife here and I had the best coach I've ever had here. So, me being able to try to provide the same situation for these new guys coming up that I had, it's big for me." After playing for 2 years at RCC, Wilson chose to take his skills to Dixon State University in Utah, where he completed his final 2 years of eligibility. Wilson returned to RCC in 2020, ready to begin the new chapter of his basketball journey as an athletic intern. The following year, he joined Phil Matthews' staff as an assistant coach, stepping into a more active role in guiding the Tigers and preparing for his future as head coach. RCC will tune up with scrimmages from October 9 to 25, leading into their session opener on October 30 at the Ventura College Tournament. I'll now introduce guest speaker of the week, life reporter Chelsea Sugimura, and her opinion on Taylor Swift's newest album, The Life of a Showgirl. I want to ask you, would you consider yourself a Swiftie, or how long have you been following Taylor's music?
I would. My older sisters were very big fans when they were in high school. So since I was a pretty young kid, she's just always been around in my household.
What was the album you would say, kind of started it all for you?
If I'm talking about when I was a kid, it would probably be the Fearless album, her second album. But I got more so into her with my own opinions when I was in high school, and that would be the Reputation album. It's probably Reputation.
So going into The Life of a Showgirl, did you have any sort of expectations to what you would find, or the title alone, The Life of a Showgirl, what do you think it would entail?
I thought that it was going to sort of follow her life on Eras Tour, because Life of a Showgirl, she kind of was a showgirl. And if not that, it would also include her love story with Travis Kelce, especially since the engagement was announced so close to the album. And she has some really good love songs that actually have meaning behind them. So I thought that it would just be a more sentimental album, but it didn't give that.
What do you think it gave instead of sentimental?
It was just kind of out of touch, in my opinion. And it didn't sound like her. It was like she was trying to, I don't want to say copy Sabrina Carpenter, but kind of go off of Sabrina Carpenter's character of, I don't know if I want to talk about this, of being like having that sex appeal. And that doesn't feel authentic to her. She's never been sexy, quote unquote. It's always been more meaningful. And I just didn't like how she did that either.
Yeah, you mentioned that the album lacks emotional depth and the use of literary devices that she constantly incorporated in her storytelling. You say it was a disappointment after the build-up of anticipation surrounding the release. So do you think that was why, kind of fans aren't satisfied with the final product, because it lacks the depth, it lacks the metaphors,
I would say yes. I mean, especially after the last album. It was like, it gave us whiplash. I mean, you have the Tortured Poets department, which, in my opinion, was poetry. There were a lot of songs that were super heartbreaking. And not that she has to write heartbreak songs only, but they had something to say. Even the happier ones, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. That song, you could say, is kind of embarrassing, not necessarily the best song, but it still felt true to her. And it felt more creative. This album just feels rushed. Like, she didn't put any second thought into what she was saying. She just was more
laid it all out
straightforward.
there.
Yeah, it was like, here, like,
Yeah.
take it for what it is.
Did you go to the Riverside Plaza Regal Theater release party?
Yes.
What was that like? You mentioned only 6 people attended.
Yes. So it was me and my friend are included in that 6.
Okay.
So 2 of us, and then there was a couple next to us and a mom and daughter in a few rows before us. I don't know if you're familiar with the Eras Tour movie.
I've never seen it.
No, it was pretty good, actually. I mean, especially for people who went to the Eras Tour, I think that was just such a perfect tour for her. But that movie was really good in capturing the actual emotions. And, like, my sister didn't get to go to any of her concerts, so seeing it in theater was really cool. And it brought that experience to life in a movie form. So that's what I expected from this movie. That's also just my bad. I didn't really look into what it was before I went, but it was more so just a listening party. Like, it had the lyrics for each song on the screen. She did premiere her music video that way, which I thought was cool, instead of just putting it on YouTube. But our theater was kind of dead because of the lack of people. I have seen on social media other theaters and other showings had a bigger turnout, so I don't know if it was just the timing. But yeah, it was still interesting to hear, though. It did change my mind a little bit on the album itself.
Do you feel the lack of music producer Jack Antonoff played a role in how different this album feels compared to previous ones?
Yes, I'm a big Jack Antonoff fan. Even outside of Taylor Swift, that man has worked with almost all of my favorite artists, Olivia Rodrigo, Lana Del Rey. He's just everywhere. And I also like his own music. He was on the band Fun, The Bleachers.
Yeah.
I just think he brought something out of Taylor that really contributed to her songs. There was a video, I mentioned it in the article, not the video, but the song. There's a video that went viral a few years ago of the 2 of them in, like, not a recording session, but when they were actually writing the album, of them writing the song Getaway Car, and the both of them just riffing off of each other. And I think that's something she can only really do with Jack Antonoff, because they have a lot of similarities, but they also clash in a few ways that it just makes something better than what we got. Another producer she's worked with, Max Dresser, I think he has the same effect on her. He's written some really good songs for her. And as far as I'm aware of, these 2 producers that she worked on with The Life of a Showgirl have never been on an album before with her, so it just might not have hit the same for that reason. It was just something completely new. But yeah, I do wish Jack Antonoff was on the album. That was my first thought, was please bring Jack back.
Another thing. The use of artificial intelligence. So the use of artificial intelligence it was in her promotional videos. You know, the piano looked nothing like the piano she had on the Eras Tour. Or her finger going through I forgot what it was. But, like, just things just not playing how they would if it were real. So what are your thoughts on that? I know Taylor is a very creative person. She puts a lot of attention to detail. To see the use of AI in something that she's supposed to be super proud of, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, as soon as you mentioned AI, I thought this was going to go somewhere different. That's why I laughed. First of all, the whole album almost sounds like AI. I know that it's not, but that was a theory, was that everybody pause, don't hate on it yet. She's just pranking us. Like, this is AI. But no, I think the entirety of the album, the music, the production, the promotional videos, the pictures. It just lacked creativity, and I think that the use of AI is kind of part of that. I think AI can be a helpful tool when used sparsely, but I think that it was overdone a little bit too much, especially since, again, you mentioned the Eras Tour piano.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many great shots from the Eras Tour that could have been used. I think she could have gone a lot of different ways, and it's kind of disappointing that she chose almost the easier route, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, I mentioned time. Did she use AI because it's faster than getting all of these clips or even filming something new? Maybe. I mean, it's only been a year since the last album, so could be another aspect of it just being rushed, which I'm not a fan of, but
Yeah.
if it's true, it's true.
Okay, to end things off, I'd like to lastly ask, would you give the album another shot, maybe months, weeks, years down the line, or are you stern on your initial opinion? Is it something that you would stray away from?
I don't think my opinion will change. A few of the songs have already grown on me a little bit more. Track 1, Fate of Ophelia, and then Opalite, those are pretty good songs, but for the most part, no. I think I'm kind of set, and I've already reverted back to my favorite albums rather than listening to this new one. Just because I don't like the unauthenticity of it, and I don't really see my mind changing on that. I'm more so just hopeful for future albums.
Well, that is all I have today. Thank you for coming on and talking to me over your thoughts of the life of a showgirl, as well as being the first guest on What's the Issue.
That's so exciting. I'm making history.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to What's the Issue, a weekly breakdown of Viewpoints online articles, along with an in-depth article breakdown and conversation with the staff writer. Be sure to tune in next Monday, where I'll bring the newest articles in news, sports, life, and opinions.